This week, the first crypto president has just taken office. And in just the last few days, we've seen Donald Trump deliver on some of the biggest promises that he made to the crypto community, affirming that it wasn't just all talk, that he actually intends to lead and put crypto front and center in front of not just the nation, but the entire world. But in that time, we've also seen what feels like a complete collapse of faith and excitement within the crypto community, leading many people to ask the question, did Donald Trump actually just end the bull run? Was this the top of the bull run? And do we have a lot of pain ahead of us? As you know, on this channel, we've been extremely excited for what Trump will do to the crypto ecosystem. And so we're going to be breaking down absolutely everything that happened and explaining why we've seen this collapse of excitement and giving you my take on what's about to happen in crypto land. Because in crypto, we're usually so focused on what's happening over the next few days, over the next few weeks. We're so desperately trying to figure out whether we're holding the hot potato too long that it's very hard sometimes to embrace when changes will not only have impacts over the next few weeks and months, but for years to come. Let's dive in and take a look at everything going on with the Trump trade and answer the question, did Trump just end the bull run, or has he just rung the starting bell? First, let's take a peek at some statements he made yesterday at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
This reduced the cost of virtually all goods and services. It'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto.
Some bold words. He's literally saying that America will be the capital of crypto as well as AI. It's kind of hard not to be excited about that kind of tough talk. Meanwhile, things are getting even crazier as we have Larry Fink going on national television on CNBC and talking and joking about launching meme coins.
Are you planning on issuing any either meme coin ETFs or anything like that now that the animal spirits seem to be very much alive?
I think the Sorkin coin should.
Sorkin coin. We got to do a squat coin. We've talked, Becky and I, we've talked about a squat coin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, your eyes don't deceive you. After Trump's meme coin Trump hit the market, we've now seen a complete regulatory shift, a complete mindset shift. We even have Larry Fink and Andrew Sorkin joking about launching meme coins named after Sorkin, named after the Squawk Box show. It's absolute insanity. But this isn't just for meme coins. Larry Fink is doubling down on his Bitcoin stance.
I was with a sovereign wealth fund during this week, and that was the conversation. Should we have a 2% allocation? Should we have a 5% allocation? If everybody adopted that conversation, you know, it would be 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 per Bitcoin.
All it takes is for the biggest funds in the world to adopt a small 2 to 5% allocation, and Bitcoin's trading at $500,000 plus. That's straight from the words of Larry Fink, the guy who runs BlackRock, one of the most important and powerful people on the planet. He's also joking about meme coins. These are the types of things that would have literally set the crypto community on fire, not just for days, but for months, for years. Back in 2018 and 2019, I can tell you, we would have done unspeakable things for news that is just a fraction as interesting, as bullish as this. And yet, since mid-December, since about December 6th or so, we've seen a max drawdown of up to 35% on others. This is the chart that charts everything but Bitcoin. And you can see that it's currently sitting at a pretty significant drawdown of about 23% on all coins outside of the top 10. We also see Bitcoin just pretty much struggling, stuck inside this range that's sort of between 100,000 and 106,000 with not much upward trajectory. And almost the craziest chart of them all, we see Bitcoin dominance running back almost all the way up, leading to the question of did Bitcoin dominance even top, which is part of the fundamental thesis that we've been looking at to declare altcoin season and the time to go full risk on into the most aggressive parts of crypto. Fear and greed has reset from extreme greed all the way down into nearly into the fear territory. As one of my new favorite accounts here, Doug Funny says, been really great watching Bitcoin dominance tick back up towards cycle high. Means we have a much more sustainable cycle, lasts longer, and can go higher. All smiles as we put the gun to our head. I mean, that's how it feels, right? Because most of the people in crypto that are chasing big gains, like myself, are not holding exclusively Bitcoin. We're holding all kinds of alts because those are the coins that go crazy, perform insanely, and those have gotten absolutely beaten to a pulp over the last month or so here in crypto land. But then we start getting berated with headlines like this, such as Morgan Stanley is working with regulators on offering crypto transactions. And so you have a tale of two cities. We have the extreme optimism and excitement, the tough talk, all the promises being kept by the Trump administration. And meanwhile, you have content creators like my buddy Rand Nooner over there at Crypto Banter saying that there will never again be an alt season. We have crypto god John here painting a low target, saying that we could actually break below 85,000 here over the next few months and even into mid-February, print a low here, which of course, if we drop another significant 20% or so on Bitcoin, we might see an absolute apocalyptic crash in altcoins, which are already struggling holding on to the lows. Ansem is again putting out a FUD chart here. I mean, not really, this is just his thesis, essentially saying he's shorting the market here at the range highs of 106, expecting that we could go all the way down to 91, and even showing this gap all the way down to 75,000. And this is the craziest part to me, is we've actually gotten an executive order, the most productive piece of legislation ever created for crypto, was just signed into law by President Trump, saying that there will be a national digital asset stockpile. And I immediately, upon seeing this, said, sound the alarm. You either front run this or you die poor. This is it. He also released the JFK files on the same day, which is just crazy to me. I mean, there's just so many promises that he's kept immediately. So what he's showing is that everything he said he was going to do, he is doing. And we know how pro crypto and how Bitcoin he is. But the market freaked out because essentially the details of the working group around the national stockpile of digital assets, essentially the Bitcoin strategic reserve expectations, had this phrase in it that says potentially derived from lawfully seized cryptocurrencies. So people took that to mean that this would only be from seized assets, not from new assets they go out and buy on market. Obviously, if they're buying on market, it could pump crypto up infinitely. If they're just keeping seized assets, that's really not a bull case. That's just avoiding a more bearish case. So it doesn't actually add more buying pressure immediately to our bags. And once again, Doug here with the take saying, if throwing someone out of a helicopter into one of those 90-foot tall out of a nightmare waves off the coast of Portugal was represented in a chart, it'd be this 10 times Bitcoin 8 to 10K whipsaw over the last week. You can see this is just the craziest meat grinder of price action I have ever seen. It shoots up from 100,000 to 105, down to 102, up to 107, down to 100, up to 110. It's just whipsawing in the craziest way like I've never seen before. So let's talk Turkey right now. What the fuck is going on with crypto, and specifically with altcoin bags? Because the last month or so has felt like we were about to have the floodgates opened, the fabled golden bull run. And yet we've seen this incredible pullback. And not only that, we're seeing all kinds of anger and outrage within the crypto community at what should be one of the most exciting times in the entire industry. And mind you, the stock market is pretty much up only, printing new high after new high. You can see that the S&P 500 now hit 6,100. And so while it feels like markets are up only, Bitcoin and crypto have this sputtering engine effect that are really leading a lot of people to wonder, have we been pricing in the best of the best outcomes this entire time? Is that why crypto bottomed around 50K and has run up to over 100K? And all of that was actually pricing in the best possible outcome from Trump, not a reasonable outcome. And so let's talk about that. Because what we've seen here is so many pieces of legislation, so many pieces of news that don't just take effect right now. In fact, they haven't taken effect yet. And they not only pave the way for something bullish over the next few months, over 2025, but for the rest of time. One of the things that I've been saying since I got into crypto is this is way too crazy. This is way too hard. We need banks to hold your crypto, or else normal people will never be able to get into this. Because as you know, signing up for Coinbase, going through KYC, buying coins, holding them in a hardware wallet, doing all these things takes a ton of time, energy, and it's very stressful. Buying Apple stock is not stressful. You sign up for Robinhood, you swipe. That's how it should be with crypto. But right now you have all of these barriers, but seemingly all at once they are being removed. There's even a desire to make all US cryptos tax-free. We've heard that. We've heard the president say that. President Trump even launched a meme coin, which effectively is like a wink, wink, nod that all meme coins are going to be completely free of regulatory scrutiny. We even heard David Sachs say something to that effect on live TV. Let's take a listen.
I want to get your take on the Trump coin, which started right before he took office. Are you concerned about a conflict of interest there?
I don't think so. I think the Trump coin is a collectible. Like I mentioned, there's different categories of digital assets. That's a collectible. It's like a baseball card or a stamp. People buy it because they want to commemorate something. So this is just my personal opinion. I'm not a regulator, but my personal opinion is that it's totally fine.
So David Sachs, the crypto czar, thinks that meme coins are collectibles. And of course, these have been subject to some of the most scrutiny ever in the industry, in their history. And so the question is, what happens next? And so as my buddy EllioTrades, who's got a lot of great letters in his name, says here, the US government is working for your bags and you're bearish. Look, I get it. My favorite coins have been absolutely abused over the last month. It's been very, very challenging for me to deal with it because honestly, my net worth swing over the last month has been astronomical. But Like I said to you guys at the beginning of this cycle, I'm not going to be selling any coins until we get to the banana zone, the fun zone, the actual big push of this bull run. And if I can explain what's happening right now, I would just say that this is one big sell the news event. The amount of anticipation, excitement, and euphoria coming into the Trump trade has just been a big hot air balloon of expectations. And those expectations, when they get too big, eventually deflate into something more realistic. We now know that there is going to be a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We know that there's not only just going to be a Bitcoin strategic reserve, but we know that there's going to be a digital asset stockpile. I mean, if there were 3 words that could get a man aroused faster than digital asset stockpile of the United States, I have no idea what they are, because that is absolutely insane that we're living in a world where the federal government is talking about stockpiling our shitcoins. Not just Bitcoin, not just the mythological lore of orange coin that most of us wish we owned more of, but our beloved bags, the ones that we're riding on. Probably a lot more coins as well. Remember, David Sachs literally is one of the biggest investors and holders of Solana. So my take on this is that what we're seeing is a short-term deflation around a ton of extreme excitement, maybe over exuberance. Maybe people thought on day one Trump was going to start buying Bitcoin, when we know that a strategic Bitcoin reserve is a lofty goal, and it will most likely need to be passed through Congress. Of course, those bills have already been put forward by Cynthia Lummis. This is going to happen in some way, shape, or form. But crypto people are now realizing it's not going to be overnight. I don't know who thought it was going to be overnight, but in the end, this is the reality. We have structural changes that will not only be bullish for crypto in the coming weeks, but for literally the rest of our lifetimes. This is insane. And so let me talk to you a little bit about why we are probably in the final trough of despair here. Ryan Armstrong put out this crazy think piece where he essentially talks about how he met everyone from the World Economic Forum, all these global leaders, and they all want to do this. They all want to go full crypto. It's happening. And he says that Coinbase will be poised to capture the upside here. He said the floodgates are open. He says that many emerging market leaders are just deeply already in the industry, that President Trump has literally forced everyone's hand here, and that crypto and AI are the hot button issues of today and the future. But I will say I did like this warning before we go further. This probably doesn't apply to you if you're in the EllioTrades community. You have been for several years. But if you're just getting into the market now, if you're new to the market, have no discernible edge, or asking people on CT what to buy, you're not going to make it. Your obliteration is programmed. Wait a couple of years, work on your edge in your network. Exceptions for the exceptionally bright. Now, that's probably true for 99% of people. I say that constantly on this channel, that most people will lose money, especially on their first cycle. And if you're not here early and you don't practice sort of my method of just buying into key narratives very early at the stone bottom, you're probably not going to make it, because the market has gotten even harder over time with the amount of coins being launched, the level of the traders in the ecosystem. That easy mode is less easy than before. So let's go through a few more pieces of data that will help you understand what's about to happen next, because I do believe we are coming into the fabled golden bull run. And I do believe that it will be insane, but you have to brace yourself for the fact that crypto is being mainstreamed in a way that makes it more of a slow grind up here. We may still get a Q4 2025, early 2026 top, but based on the erratic level of excitement and up and down mentality in crypto Twitter, I don't know if everyone's going to be able to hold their coins. I mean, personally, I've been doing this almost a decade. Another few months to me is nothing to reach the goals that I've put out in my head. Another few years for me is nothing. I'm ready for whatever tasks there are ahead, because I can see that the writing is on the wall, that crypto is about to reach the major leagues. And that comes with changes, that comes with adaptations. But it means that if you're able to deliver and find wins in crypto now, those wins might not only be bigger than any other time in history, but they will last longer, because fundamentally there will be a mindset shift between short-term opportunist traders and long-term opportunist investors. That's because crypto is now becoming a long-term opportunity, not a short-term bull market phenomenon. The types of buyers that are buying Bitcoin are not buying it for a 1 or 2 month flip, like people in 2017 or 2021. People are coming in and they're expecting to buy and hold this asset for decades. And that fundamentally changes the nature of bear markets and bull markets. But all that aside, I want to answer the question, has Trump ended the bull run? And the answer is no. I believe that Trump catalyzed the bull run. And I believe that what he's about to do next is going to send the bull market into overdrive. And that's because this whole catch-up trade from 50,000 up to 110,000 has just been raw excitement about the support of the US government without any real details. And now we know that not only is the green flag being waved, that there will be no more prosecution, no more debanking. Crypto companies can operate in the light. Shout out to Made in the USA cryptos. Check out Superverse, live on the Made in USA list on CoinGecko. We no longer have to live in fear. But now for the the question of where does the next big ball of money come from? And the answer is starting to take shape. Let me show you.
I'm also going to ask Saudi Arabia and OPEC to bring down the cost of oil. You got to bring it down, which frankly, I'm surprised they didn't do before the election. That didn't show a lot of love by them not doing it. I was a little surprised by that. If the price came down, the Russia-Ukraine war would end immediately. Right now, the price is high enough that that war will continue. You got to bring down the oil price. You got to end that war. They should have done it long ago. They're very responsible, actually, to a certain extent for what's taking place. Millions of lives are being lost.
So as Trump said, he desperately wants to bring down oil prices, and that way he can lower interest rates. And when he lowers interest rates, it won't cause as much inflation. And as soon as he said this, just within moments, you see the price of oil on public markets starting to tank because people believe that his influence will be able to get OPEC and Saudi Arabia to increase production and then bring down the cost of oil. It's a totally controlled market. They stipulate how much supply and how much demand. So if Trump's able to wave his magic wand and bring down oil prices, then he can simultaneously bring down interest rates, which of course is one of the biggest stimulatory effects you could have for markets ever. So love or hate this guy, he is delivering not in months or years, but in literally hours on everything he said he was going to do. Now, some people might not like some of the policies. If you're in crypto, you'd have to have your head screwed on backwards not to like what he's doing, because this is 100% beneficial for our assets. So my take is very simple. These are structural changes that are coming. Lower interest rates. He's going to weaken the dollar. He's going to position crypto as a national priority. He's already doing it. He's going to bring clear rules of the road so everyone can build crypto products. And there is not just going to be a wave of new capital, but a never-ending flood. The biblical flood of capital into crypto is going to be astronomical. It's going to flood not just into Bitcoin, but into all of our coins. It's going to flood especially into Made in America coins, which are going to get lower tax treatments, more benefits. These are the types of changes that make it so obvious why America is not just here to win crypto, but they're here to king-make crypto in the process. So while I feel plenty of the frustration myself, I honestly can't even tell you how crazy it is watching the swings in my personal net worth over the last few months, because I actually shudder to think about it. But the reality is that I have full faith that we are at the beginning of a new era, and that new era will bring new challenges, new changes to this industry. But I'm going to be working to understand those, to create actionable strategies around how I'm going to make money on those, and to bring those to you in the form of the best content I can here on YouTube. If you appreciate that, smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe, because we have a ton of work to do here. The market is evolving at a breakneck speed, and I'm going to be here to hold your hand and help you get through it, because this shit is crazy. Now, if you're looking for a simple signal of when altcoins should start going absolutely nuts, it's really this. Ethereum has continued to lose value against Bitcoin. It has been one of the most depressing charts. Since literally 2021, it has just been down only against Bitcoin. You can see that it has finally reached this hallowed land of 0.03, which is where this insane impulse up started in 2021, and it should most likely mark the bottom of this pain. Again, calling the bottom of the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio has been the path to hell over the last few years, but I can tell you that when Ethereum starts meaningfully reversing here, it will not only be bullish for the entire industry, but you could expect altcoins to start dramatically outperforming, and you can expect that this will be probably the most insane altcoin season we've ever seen, with a flurry of altcoins getting listed on the stock market through ETFs, with structured institutional products, with much easier onboarding and potentially even custody of those coins at your local bank. Now, of course, we don't like banks. We don't support banks, but let's be real. 99% of people would much rather have the bank hold their crypto than trying to figure out how to do the Ledger Nano dance, self-custody, multi-sig, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a big pain, and it leads to a lot of losses and stolen crypto. I have no reason at this point to believe that any of these things won't happen. So the question of, did Trump just end the bull run? No. But some of this euphoria around the Trump trade, around the Trump inauguration, around the beginning of Trump's term has deflated because potentially there was some delusional or misplaced expectations. With that being said, I believe that Trump has delivered way more than even my wildest expectations. So while the market is full of ups and downs, I believe that the risk reward for being in crypto and specifically in altcoins over the next few months through not only 2025, but way beyond has changed dramatically. And it has changed not just for the next few years, but it has changed forever. I can't imagine where this industry is going to be in the next few years, but I can tell you that I'm going to be here. And none of my convictions have changed. AI, memes, gaming. Now, of course, AI and memes have played out in a much bigger and a more insane way than I could ever have imagined. If you followed me on those calls back in mid-2023, you would have been up astronomically on AI and memes. Of course, gaming is still a bit of a laggard, although Superverse has been the rockstar performer, reaching over 30x gains since the lows in October of 2023, and that is way out of proportion for the rest of the gaming market. I can't imagine how crazy this is going to be when we do get a gaming season, when there is actually hype around the narrative, because certainly there's not right now. But nothing else makes sense to me, and I believe that positioning in the things that make sense in a world where crypto has the full legalization support of the United States as an application layer, as an innovator's paradise, gaming is the application layer that makes sense to me, and I believe will dominate. And that's why my buckets are unchanged. And I am actually more excited than I've ever been. Despite feeling extremely stressed over the absolute bludgeoning that altcoins have gotten, I'm confident that this is the beginning of the golden age of crypto. I encourage you to check out my predictions for 2025. That video helps understand my mentality going into the next several months with AI gaming made in America, as well as a sprinkle of some other fun stuff. Make sure to check out that video. It's popping up now.